Let's recreate a clip that has amassed over 1 million views on TikTok. The Mess Around podcast, which you might be familiar if you've watched New Girl, might not be a top 10 or even a top 100 podcast, but that hasn't stopped this show from gathering thousands and even millions of views on social media. And we're going to remake a clip from one of the episodes. So I've already got my episode loaded in, and one of the moments that got pulled was actually the clip that I'm looking for this particular short. So we're going to click on edit, and here we go. So I already know that this clip is much longer than what I need it to be. So I'm going to come up here to extend and trim, and this clip is actually going to start at here. But then Schmidt comes back to let Nick know, and I actually want to end the clip after, oh yeah. Then we'll hit continue. So now we have the new timeline that we want to work with here. And as you'll notice, we have a full horizontal video in here, but we have our vertical frame. So in order to fix this, we could manually come in here and we can resize this down, do all that, but that's a lot of work. So what we're going to do instead is come over into Magic Frame down on the timeline here, and we're going to let AI do all the hard work for us. And just like that, we are ready to go. So I'm going to turn off the title for this video. We don't need it for this video. It doesn't match the original, but we now have our reframed clip. Now, if you're not familiar with this podcast, it's essentially a rewatch show for the TV show New Girl. And Hannah Simone and Lamorne Morris, who play Cece and Winston Bishop in the show, are essentially rewatching the show and taking listeners on a journey through the shenanigans and antics that happen while recording the show. And one of the cool things that they're doing while this clip is being played is they're actually pulling clips from the TV show and playing them over the background as B-roll for their clips. So I've already pulled a couple of the clips that I want to use from the actual show itself, and we're going to insert them into the timeline here. So we're going to come down to the timeline, right click, and choose Insert Media. Now we're going to upload our own and choose a file. I'm going to insert my video into our editor. Now I did notice in the TikTok clip when the cutaway happens to the actual show, they're not actually using the sound from the show, and this could be for a couple of reasons. One could be that they don't actually have the rights to play the actual clip on the show, and another could be they just wanted to add B-roll into it and they didn't necessarily want to take away from the conversation happening and have it be a full cutaway. But either way, we can do the same thing in here. We're just going to click the mute button over on our video. So now I have my clips inserted. They're ready to go. The last thing that I want to do to more match up with the actual clip that we're recreating here is change the captions, because the captions in the original clip don't have a whole lot going on. They're actually pretty simple. So I want to simplify these a lot more. So I'm going to get rid of the animations. I'm going to remove all of the animations in the text that we have. And actually, you know, it'll be easier. Let's come to the presets and we'll just choose this transparent highlight preset. And we can choose if we want to keep that animation on. I kind of like it. It's not in the original clip, but I still think it has a nice little touch to the captions themselves. And as you can see, we actually have our TikTok safe zones on here. So we can make sure that our caption is not getting covered up by any of the other elements that are going to show up on TikTok itself. If you come up over into the top bar here, you can see we have all of our different safe zones, and we had TikTok safe zone on. So it looks like our caption is in a pretty good spot on this video, so it's not going to get covered up by anything on TikTok. In just a few minutes, we were able to recreate an entire clip. So let's take a look at the finished clip and see how we did.
But then Schmidt comes back to let Nick know, hey man, I'm dating Elizabeth and Cece. This is also one of those really funny back and forths whenever Max and Jake are on camera together, where Nick is so confused about what he's trying to tell him. He can't fathom a world in which you can have multiple women. He's just like, you gotta choose.
And this was like half a page on the script. So they obviously Max Winkler, the director, told them to just like open it up and just to keep going with the confusion and the questioning and the justifications. And all of it made it in because it's so funny. And I feel like it's one of the most iconic scenes between these two guys that people love. You get one wife. This is the way the world works. And then when he goes, why? And screams. And then the turn that Jake does where he's like, I don't know. It's so great.
Oh, yeah.
All right, there it is. Let me know what you think in the comments. If there are any podcast clips or shows you want us to recreate here on the channel, let me know down in the comments. If you enjoyed this video or it was helpful, be sure to hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe for more content like this.